My name is Felix Bacon, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And listen, you may not know this about me. You may not know this about me. I like Doctor Who. I'm a bit of a Doctor Who fan, so you may not know what Doctor Who is. I guess you probably do because you're watching this video. So Doctor Who, lovely little TV show, absolutely lovely little TV show. It started in 1963, and it was on just the cutting edge of creativity. And it maintained that for decades, absolute decades. By the mid to late 80s, it kind of ran out of steam. It was quite sad. Even though the last couple of years, I would say it had a bit of a creative renaissance, but it went off the air. But it was never forgotten. You know, it continued in books, it continued in radio plays. The fandom actually did pretty good with it, being off the air, I have to tell you. But then in 2005, one of the greatest talents in British TV brought it back, and it was just more successful than ever before. It was just phenomenally successful. People couldn't believe how successful it was, and it was really very, very good. It maintained being successful, and then about 2-3 years ago, a chap came along called Chris Chibnall and says, You know what? The problem is, all you people are bad people. And it's not your fault you're bad people, he told us. It's not your fault you're bad people. You're just stupid. You're stupid. So I'm going to re-educate you. So you don't have to be bad people anymore. And part of that very, very important re-education is casting a woman to be Doctor Who. Now, at the time, didn't really bother me. And I was actually, well, that's kind of an interesting idea. Doctor Who's always been on the cutting edge of change and development. And I thought, I'm quite excited to see this new interesting direction is going to head. Actually, I'm not bullcrapping. I tell you the actual, I really was. Other people not so enthused. Other people were not so enthused. Not many. It was a teeny tiny minority. They said, look, this is a bad sign for the future. They're not casting a lady to be Doctor Who because they want to move the narrative forward. They're casting a lady to be Doctor Who so they can lecture you because they think you're bad people. I went, no, don't be silly. And they said, well, look, he just said it over here. And she said it. And I said, no, don't be silly. Turned out they were right. Now, here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting bit of the story. It was then insanely unpopular. People watched it and went, "Oh my god, this is awful." I used to really like this show. We're talking about the normies. They used to really like the show. It was fun. It was like now it just the Doctor seems to be an idiot that likes to smugly lecture you all the time. It's not so much fun. And people stop watching it. So there's a website out there which I would call a dark propaganda website called Bleeding Cool, and they're very much propagandists for this insane outlook that tell you that you're a bad person, you're a terrible, terrible bad person if you don't agree with them on all the crazy stuff they say about identity, like all the stuff. If you don't agree with them, that you're fundamentally bigoted because you don't love this insanely boring, preachy, terrible version of Doctor Who. They will happily tell you that you're wrong and you actually are a bigot. Yeah, they're very much into that. So Bleeding Core has come along and said, yes, we understand that Doctor Who is not very popular anymore. In fact, it's less popular now than it was when it was cancelled in the late 80s. So our solution is that thing that made it so insanely unpopular. Let's do a lot more of that. Let's just do that a lot more now. If you're unaware, the definition of insanity is doing exactly the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So we're going to have a look at this insanity from bleedingcool.com. Oh my god, that's a 4-minute intro, but I think it was kind of worth it. I think it's something we needed to talk about. Before we get into it, guys, can you hit the subscribe button? That'd be freaking awesome. Listen, there's no secret out there that independent voices, shall we say independent voices who don't think the right thoughts, shall we say, who are not part of the groupthink body, not very popular. Not very popular in Silicon Valley. Listen, YouTube, I'm very, very grateful for the platform that you continue to give me, and I live in dread of the day that you're going to take it away, probably in the next 48 hours. Anyway, so I'm very, very grateful for that. But, the only way for us independent voices to in any way compete with, the propagandists of the world, the bleeding cause of the world, we need you to hit the subscribe button. We need you to hit the like button. We need you to hit the share button. And please, can you do that for any YouTuber who, I want to say you like, even if you vaguely don't dislike them. Just can you do that? That'll be fan-freaking-tastic. Thank you very much. And comment is also very good. Now, if you do subscribe to the channel, you can enter my weekly competitions. The prize is given away tonight. Actually, the prize is probably already given away. I'm probably going to put this video out after I give away the prize. So if I do, say la vie, there'll be another prize next week. Just tune into my video, you'll see what it is. But the prize right now is Mission Impossible box set 1, 2, and 3. Bam, 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 bam. Fascinatingly, packaging is completely in Hebrew because that's where I bought it. So the movies are in English. You can put the Hebrew subtitles on, I guess, if you want. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, and in the comments leave the hashtag 5 seconds to self-destruct. 5 seconds to self-destruct. A loving little tip of the hat to Mission Impossible, or a commentary on the state of the Western civilization as of today, January 19th, 2021. I put the dates in. I say the dates as often as I can because I think everything's about to change. I do get the feeling that everything's about. You remember Babylon 5? I used to love Babylon 5. So the end of the first season, they had I kind of like that first commander who apparently had like terrible mental problems, right? And that's which is why he had to quit. But his last line was, "Everything's about to change." I do kind of agree with you. I do kind of agree with you here. But let's instead of dwelling on the terrible things of the present, let's look at the insanity of bleeding. Oh, before we do that, go check the video notes. Everything you need to know to subscribe to win. The competition is there. And also, you'll see a nice link to my Indiegogo. Go and add your email address to the sign-up list. I'm hoping to launch it this week. I really am. I'm hoping to launch it this week. We just got to get a couple of things done. I'm inching slowly closer. And of course, if you add your email address to the sign-up list, you get goodies. You do get goodies. Fine. Let's read this article. By Bleeding Cool. Ransomware attacks are the new normal. Are they? Bloody hell, that's kind of scary. Are you breach-proof? Darling, I'm not even breach-proof in the bathroom, and that's that's just a fact of getting older in life. It's just like, it's not, when you get close to your 50s, you spontaneously defecate all over yourself. But sometimes you do need to go to the bathroom and wipe. Nothing's happened. Nothing, but things are getting just a bit juicy down there, So it's your rectum takes on the aspect of a bag of leaves, just rigged up, not quite tied up properly. So I really have no idea how I got onto that, but I hope you enjoyed that little insight. Doctor Who. Here's why our next several doctors need to be women. It doesn't matter about having engaging stories. It doesn't matter about having great characters you connect to. It doesn't matter about entertaining the public. No. Tante Midda says, no, we just need to be women. Women, because women are horribly oppressed minority that take up half the planet and face no oppression whatsoever. Other than that little basic reality. So let's find out what Addy's thoughts are on the matter. With rumours of Jodie Whittaker's departure, really? They should really just announce it already. It's not really a rumour anymore. With rumour of Jodie Whittaker departing Doctor Who after the next series, speculation is rife about who should play the next Doctor. Not really. I think people aren't that interested in Doctor Who anymore because this era of Doctor Who has been very, very unpopular. I personally hate it. I don't want to be clear, by the way. If you're somebody who likes the current era of Doctor Who, God bless you. I have nothing against you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I actually am. Why would I be upset that you're enjoying it? Me, I really, really hate it. Go check my other a gazillion billion videos where I explain why. Nothing has to do with Jodie Whittaker not having a pee-pee. Okay, nothing else to do with not having a pee-pee. More not having a clue how to play the role. That's really a little bit more of it, and the script's being awful. Okay, then who's playing close right? Says no, it's not right. Who's playing next door? In the UK, this is a very big deal. Well, it was. Bookmakers usually take bets that can be worth thousands of pounds. Well, any bet can be worth thousands of pounds if you put thousands of pounds on it. That's not really okay. Whatever. Bookmakers actually take bets that could be worth £1,000. It's a boom time for clickbaity articles. Well, I guess that's why we got this one about who should play the next Doctor and running spurious rumours. Spurious rumours! Oh, no, people don't speculate. Keep your mouth shut. A still tongue leads to a happy life. I think that's going to be the new go-to expression for the Western civilization. A still tongue leads to a happy life. Serious rumours about who has been cast to play as the next Doctor. Noel from the TARDIS Zone did drop a rumour about a month or so ago, but the woman from the Blacklist is cast to play a Doctor. I just assumed she was going to be another one of these missing Doctors. Maybe she's the next Doctor already. That'll be interesting. Okay, I mean, it's going to be awful, but okay. And just to be clear, the reason to be awful is not because of the actress, because of the insane worldview of Chris Chibnall and people like this who are in charge of the show. Running spurious rumours about who's next. It's fun to talk about who would like to see the next Doctor. Yes! Yeah, fun. Remember that thing that Doctor used to be fun? But that's just the science fiction TV fantasy. Okay, fantasy football. Yes, I understand. It's not real until the BBC officially announced it. Again, what are you telling us? Like, we've gone through a few sentences already, and what else? The sky is blue. Or what else you want to tell me? That's very, very obvious. Till then, it doesn't matter who you say it should be, or if sites and tabloids go around running rumours. Okay, we're not throwing a name in that. We only want to say the next Doctor should be played by a woman. That's even worse. They're not throwing a name into that. They're just saying, I don't care who it is. Okay, I don't care who it is. What, like Greta Thunberg? That should be Doctor Who. If she's a woman, close enough. Okay, that'll do. In fact, they'll probably like Greta Thunberg, wouldn't they? How dare you? I mean, or maybe just get the spitting image puppet of Greta Thunberg. Does it really make a freaking difference? Okay, but it should just play paper. And the next one for the foreseeable future should be played by a woman. Well, I think that's pretty much on the cards, isn't it? I mean, really? Again, you're not saying anything that we're all going, no. Can it be? Can it be? Now, I am cursed with adherence to logic and reason. As I would have thought when your entire channel implodes and loses half of its audience, which is essentially what the BBC has done. Not just Doctor Who. Doctor Who is on the vanguard of it. When your entire channel does that, maybe it's time to rethink. BBC's like, no, more of this! And they love these articles. Much more of this! So, and yeah, BBC has done so badly that their pitifully rated special, I think, got 6 point something like one of the lowest rated episodes of Doctor Who. I mean, it's in the lowest 10% of Doctor Who of all time, I believe. Yeah, one of the most pitifully rated. That was their flagship. That was one of their best rated shows of their highest rated season. BBC. Look, here's what you need to do. If you work at the BBC, if you're in management at BBC, you need to do this. Do this, and go, just do that. So you know what that will do? That will help get your head out your damn ass. Because you do this, you're going to push your ass out your... By the way, have you ever seen this? I saw security footage of a guy cleaning an elephant. This is a true story. A guy cleaning an elephant, like scrubbing the elephant, and the elephant walks backwards, and he gets his head caught in the elephant's arse, right? It gets the head caught in the elephant's arse, and it seems to be a very disturbing experience, but that would describe the BBC. That was it. One of my second favourite security footage I've ever seen is a guy having sexual relations with a piñata formed in the shape of a goat, I think, a goat-shaped piñata. I just thought that's how they put the candy inside. Who knew? But anyway, so that's my little critique on the BBC for the. Okay, so Doctor Who has always done its best to be socially and politically progressive show, but it's always had its blind spots. I don't know. Has it done its best? Well, being socially and politically progressive means something very different in 2021 than it did in 2015, right? Didn't it? Being socially and politically progressive now means you're really into not having freedom of speech and totalitarianism and like religious fundamentalism, in that you have to believe that trans women are women even if they have penises, and if you don't, you're a bigot. You're an absolute terrible bigot. I think that's a bit of a blind spot. Speaking of blind spots, I think people from your side of the aisle may have one or two. Okay, never mind. There's been moments of casual and unintentional racism for its 57 years. Yeah, really? Really? A citation, please. And the subsequent seasons, writers often did their best to correct those attitudes as time went on and people became more aware. No, I disagree with you fundamentally. I do not feel Britain is a racist society. I don't think it's been a racist or bigoted society for decades, absolute decades. Look, I grew up in the 80s and making somebody, like attacking somebody because of their skin color or their sexual orientation was like unheard of in the 80s. And anybody did that was kind of looked at as like low life scum. That's 40 years ago. And I understand. Even before then, I don't think a lot of the majority of the British reactions to differentness, to different ethnicities moving to England, were not hate driven. It's more like, oh my God, you're so different. You're very different from me, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. But I don't think you're an evil person. Like, again, in the 80s, we had lots of people from Pakistan come to England. I live in Israel now. A lot of them come to England and they open up corner shops. It was the stereotype. You had the corner shop. And listen, there were racial slurs against them, but most people were like, hello, and we're happy to do business with it. Why wouldn't we be? And I think I think Britain is has been built into its core is a very welcoming and egalitarian nation. I really do. That's my view of the country. I push back against this. Like, it's been a bit racist in the past. No, nonsense, utter nonsense. And again, just because you're saying it doesn't make it true. The other big problem, well, you haven't demonstrated the first big problem yet. The other big problem the show has always had was sexism. No. Listen, there were a couple of reasonably sexist moments in context that weren't sexist at all in the context of making, Patrick Troughton asking Polly to go and make the tea. And quite frankly, Polly seemed quite happy to go and make the bloody tea. I don't know. I'm sexism. I don't think. I can't think of an instance where women were portrayed as inferior because they're women, right? I mean, they've been portrayed as physically weaker because they're women. Sometimes, but again, we've thought they go against that. You have Leela's one of the most, I think one of the favorite commanders, Sarah Jane Smith. Not exactly a streaking violet, right? Who didn't have agency. But it seems to be that the companions have always been their own people who kind of like. I think would mostly pass the Bechdel test, wouldn't they? I mean, again, I don't really apply such nonsense into my viewing. But listen, okay. If you want to cite Nicola Bryant being heaved into spandex, made to wobble across the screen, yes, that was reasonably sexist. But again, I was a 12-year-old boy at the time, and I'm so happy for that. There's this weird line between sexism and healthy sexuality, which it's a bit wobbly. Okay, I get it's a bit wobbly, but I don't know. I don't think maybe if maybe Ad is going to make the case there. The female companions were frequently there to scream at the monsters and be rescued. Well, again, listen. If you see a giant slug monster or a giant spider coming at you and you don't scream and you don't, I think you're a bit weird. But again, it's something. I mean, you're talking about something from more than 40, like 60 years ago now, like 50, 60 years. Yeah, and again, Generally speaking, attitudes to women have changed over the last 50 years. But yes, this is something I also really want to push back against. I think the changing the different attitudes to the genders in the sexes like 50 years ago didn't come from a hatred or a disdain for women. It came from an idea. Anything it's a cultural imperative that up until industrialization, well, still, that up until industrialization, women were physically weaker, and it was considered deeply immoral for women to do dangerous labor, like go to war or be miners. Like, deeply immoral. Why? Because they are physically weak, physically weaker, generally speaking, right? And there was an idea that women needed to be protected by the stronger people in the society, who were called men. It wasn't like, "Hey, women are stupid. They can't do anything." And again, I understand. We don't have the same attitudes today, and I'm not even saying the attitudes of yesteryear were particularly great. I'm just saying lambasting yesteryear because of that, taking it out of the social political context of it. It's maybe not a good idea. Maybe not a great idea. Maybe a little bit completely disingenuous. That might be one of your blind spots, right? That may be, you mentioned blind spot. That might be one of your little blind spots that you have. Even when they were distinctive and could fight, they were still the sidekick. Yes. The Doctor is the central. He is the star of the show. The companion is the sidekick. Now, Russell T Davies, I think his biggest innovation was making the sidekick. So yeah, be it Rose, be it Mickey, being making the sidekicks three-dimensional people with their own lives. Okay, and that. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And in general, I think the adding of three-dimensionality to the characters of Doctor Who only really worked. I mean, there's this wonderful scene with David Tennant. Where was it? It was he was without a companion and he was talking to himself. And then and I think this would be just before he paired up with Donna Noble. Yeah, another shrinking violet paired up with Donna Noble. And he was talking to himself, and he turned around and he was talking to the companion, and he realized he was alone, and he really felt, his emptiness, his loneliness, right? And again, just wonderful performance, wonderful writing. But again, for people who are obsessed with identity, they can't see that because they're insane. They're absolutely insane, and I would say evil. Was it? They were still the sidekick, and many of the male writers at the time didn't know how to write them more the damsels in distress. No. Okay, let's go through the companions, right? Let's go back through the classic companions. We got Ace. No, not so much, right? Not so much. Bonnie Langford. Yeah, okay. She was essentially a damsel in distress, but she was just a very paper thin character to start with, and I think she came from the era of Doctor Who that really suffered from there being a lot of tension behind the scenes between Eric Saywood and John Nathan Turner. Nicola Bryant, again, listen, great book, The Life and Scandalous Times of John Nathan Turner. Nicola Bryant described her costume, which she was only for a couple of bloody episodes, but described her costume, for more than that, her costume as a gay man's idea of what was sexy. And yeah, I do hear that. And a gay man and a 12-year-old boy. Because she was just super sexy. But but they tried to give her character traits, and also Bonnie Langford. But again, I don't put that down to sexism. I think put that down to more a consternation behind the scene. And I do want to point out, we're talking about over 40 bloody years ago right now. So yeah, okay, you can have we'll give you that, but then go back there. Tegan, no. Excuse me. Nissa, no. Romana, absolutely not. Romana, 1 or 2, absolute. Leela, no. Sarah Jane Smith, no. Joe Grant, no. Liz Shaw, no. None of these. Listen. I'm going through the entire roster. So what? You want to go back to Zoe? Again, Zoe was this was a math genius. Again, no. You can argue against all of these. It's just utter utter nonsense where you take the sensibilities of 2021, which are completely detached from reality, and apply them to 1967. It doesn't really work. Fine. So and I'm going to take another pot shot here when it's and the male writers. Yes. Doctor Who, much like Star Trek, much like Star Wars, skews male, right? I'm saying 100%, but did skew male, especially in the classic era, which means boys generally wrote it more than girls because boys liked it more than girls, right? And boys had more of an affinity for it. Just in the same way, you had female drama, which is often better served being written by women, right? It's just, Star Wars works best when it's aimed at 8-year-old boys. Look at The Mandalorian. Then look at the stunning and brave Mary Sue that is Rey or as Michael Burnham, and you see how unpopular it is. Oh, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who, and you see how incredibly unpopular it is. It's not because of their gender, it's because you put their gender in front of anything else, including storytelling, right? And again, that might be one of your little blind spots that you had trouble dealing with in the old days. And at the centre of the show was always the Doctor, a representative of a benevolent patriarchy. Well, the Doctor's more of a massive contradictions, like Stephen Moffat had a great interview on was it the season 10 Blu-ray Blu-ray, the classic season 10 Blu-ray. Where the Doctor, the Doctor is a pacifist, but he works for the army. He's egalitarian, but he's very much in charge. He doesn't want to fight, but he gets himself in trouble. He goes around looking for trouble. Which, there are a lot of which makes him a fascinating and flawed character, right? As I always say, the flaws in a character make a character pop much more than the perfections of a character. Like if somebody is flawed and they're able to do great things, it's much better than a perfect person does great things. It actually makes what's called good drama. And why does the Doctor always need to be male? Okay, well, generally speaking, again, this is from Philip Hinchcliffe. The template for the Doctor is the Edwardian adventurer, the Edwardian adventurer scientist. What's it? Cavor, Professor Cavor from First Men in the Moon. That kind of thing. Now. We do live in a day and age where the Doctor doesn't have to be male, which is why I was excited actually to see a female Doctor. Also, we saw Michelle Gomez as Missy, which I just think worked perfectly. I just thought that was a great fusion of everything that was a master. You had the insanity of Johnson, which I didn't really like that much, right? But you also had the cunning of La Delgado. You had a feeling of the playfulness of what's he called again? Not Delgado, Ainley. There you go. Yeah, she was really a fusion of the character, and I think she reflected Capaldi, who was a fusion of all the other Doctors as well. But so it doesn't need to be male. But again, just making a female and then ignoring the actual DNA of the character is a mistake, right? It's a mistake. And the DNA that they've ignored is they made this Doctor into being an utter idiot. She is just clueless. She is essentially a bus driver for her fam. She's essentially just a bus driver. She has no agency. She has no authority. They say, oh, she's full of hope. How exactly? I mean, honestly, she's destroyed the human race out of her sheer stupidity. Having stupid ideas is kind of like her thing, and that would be okay, sort of, not really. If she wasn't also a coward, like to run from danger, and a preaching moron, just a preaching, boring moron. I think, who was it? There was one of these Normie articles that were tearing apart the show. To say she's got 3 basic modes. She has a chirpy Blue Peter presenter, sad little girl who lost her dolly, or a po-faced Greta Thunberg lecturing you. And none of these things are fine. So it doesn't always have to be a male, but I think you've got to concede to the masculinity of the character, even if you cast somebody female. So, and I think that's really what they've done wrong here. And that's actually not to say, the 13th Doctor, this is what I was hoping for, would be an exploration of what femininity was. I mean, after spending thousands of years being male, an exploration of what femininity actually was. But no, they actually play her like she's a trans doctor, like she's a gender neutral doctor. So in essence, not really relatable to many people at all. Okay, let's face it. The men have had their turn. Really, have the men also had their turn being coal miners, being navvies, going to war? Have the men also had their turn doing that? I mean, I don't see this throughout the entirety of society. We've had 12 male doctors, 14 if you count John Hurt and Peter Cushing. Well, I kind of do count John Hurt. Peter Cushing, he's I guess, and the from the non-canonical movies. Okay, with these actually who played as a different archetype. William Hartnell played him as an Aldrin patriarch. Patrick Dowden played him as a chaplain-esque Hodo John. But but you also had this through line going through it, which has been completely abandoned. It's not like they're completely different characters. They're not. They're absolutely not. John Pertwee is a dandish play by Tom Baker as a wandering bohemian and so on. The 21st century Doctors are more modern archetypes. Chris Eccleston was a no-nonsense Northerner. Chris Eccleston was a reaction against the traditional Doctor Who, which is basically a bit posh. Again, English aristocracy, the traditional English mad scientist. David Tennant as a sexy geek smart Aleck. Okay, Matt Smith as a geek in with an old man soul. Peter Capaldi as a cranky woke granddad. No! Oh my God! Really? I mean, I you're not doing good making a case right now, Addy. You're not doing good at all. Think of the different archetypes and personalities that have been out there for a female Doctor. Yes, and all of which they missed the mark completely. We barely scratched the surface because female heroines are still underrepresented in the genre. Because, idiot, pay attention. This is going to make your life better. Okay? The genre basically appeals to boys. Okay? That's it. It appeals to girls too, but mainly appeals to boys. Just as romance stories mainly appeal to girls. So what happens when you take a genre that mainly appeals to boys and you make it female centric? No one's interested. Which is what we see with Doctor Who, which is what we see with Star Wars, which is what we see with Star Trek, right? No one's really interested. The girls aren't interested because, look, girls who like Doctor Who, a large portion of them like there being a dishy guy being Doctor Who, right? And I always thought that Peter Capaldi broke that mold somewhat. But no, the female fans like saying, no, he is way sexy. I'm like, okay. So I can see it. But so a lot of them like that. But I think they like the essence of the character, just like boys do, right? If you like it, you like it. But that, they've had they go, idiot. Utter idiot. The reason why they're underrepresented in genre because less women are interested in this genre. It's the reason why they don't make masculine romance stories because then boys are not generally interested in it. So you've alienated the boys because you made it female centric, and you've alienated most girls because the girls who liked it because it was Doctor Who, not this garbage you put out. So who do you have left? You have people like you, Addy. You had these very worthy Twitterati that this teeny tiny clump of piss babies that are about to take over society. I always used to say Twitter isn't real. They're about to break out of Twitter. They're about to break out of Twitter and try and perform a coup on society. Which I think, this Doctor Who has been a little bit of a trial run, and we see how successful it's been. Under there, Jodie Warner plays the Doctor as a chirpy babysitter who puts a brave face on for the kids, no matter how dire things get. Yeah, okay. Joe Martin, as the first person of colour to play the character, was angrier, more dangerously violent than any previous incarnation, but at least she wasn't Jodie Whittaker, who is frankly awful. Like, just frankly, she is so bad in the role. Play the character with any more data than any. So you can't argue women can't play action or dark as men have. Yes, but Jodie Whittaker can't. I can argue she can't, because she can't even run down a bloody corridor. You know, I saw a picture with her with a stunt double. Like, does she do the running for her? Because, like, I mean, the way they worked it out in season 12, they did a lot of shaky cam, which didn't really cover it up at all. She's just utterly awful in the role. The only other 2 female doctors so far, 3 if you count Stephen Moffat's spoof version as a horny white, Joanna Lumley as a horny, wisecracking, posh English woman. That could have worked. The possibilities are endless as casting men and less familiar, and Doctor Who has always been, yes, okay, but this has been a crushing failure for the exact reason that you're saying we should continue doing it. I mean, like, can you not see how much the BBC and Doctor Who has failed because of this insanity? Of course, a real change will come when we get more female writers and a female. Yeah, who cares? Just make good Doctor Who. And yeah, honestly, you know when the big change is gonna come, when people like you are not terrified that your ideas won't work, so you've got to act like cuckoos and glob onto an existing property, and you have the bravery to make your own thing, to make something new and original. Listen, if you want great female-led science fiction drama, Bernie Summerfield, absolutely fantastic. I love it, and it's feminine. That's the thing. It's got a feminine feel to it, you know. But this is garbage. This is absolute garbage. So yeah, Abby Timmons is a filmmaker. I bet you make crap. Screenwriter, probably write crap. Novelist who just likes to write her. Okay, well, if you just like to write her, maybe you want to learn how to write. Like, really? Hero, I would say he. Hero, a radio play for BBC, JLA, who gives a crap? Okay, you're a moron. Whoever you're a male feminist who are, I would say, the biggest morons in society, and yes, not particularly helpful for society. There you go. A nice little wander down the wibbly wobbly world of the insane people who live and die by identity politics. My name is Sheila Beck, and you're the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell, so you're notified when new videos drop.